everybody, and welcome to Oxygen Not Included. I absolutely love this game. It's probably got to be one of my favorites to play. As a guy that plays a lot of survival and base building games, this one has a lot of unique challenges that are true to what you see in the real world. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Upon spawning in, we need to take a look at the surrounding area. First thing we see are actually three giant water pools over to the right. We're gonna make really good use of those. Now, uh, I saw a little bit of water to the left. I know that there's some vegetation and some stuff that we can get down below for some food and stuff like that. A little tiny bit up top above us too. There's a ton of oxygen, but the first thing we're gonna need to do here, let's go ahead and dig a hole, make our way to the water, drop down a water pitcher filler. That way we can have our water and survive. We're going to need it for crops. We're going to need it for toilets. We're going to need eventually plumbing. Plumbing's a whole different issue. We'll get to that in a long while after we get this up and running. But these guys are moving kind of slow, so I think I'm going to go ahead and kick them into high gear here and make some ladders across the top of the water here. That way they can finish digging that stuff out. Now we've got the ladder walkway complete over there. We've got access to that water hole. We're going to go ahead and build up, dig a little space out of the top just so we can make some room for like maybe outhouses and wash basins or stuff like that. I'm also going to take a look up here. I see a little bit of coal and some granite up there. We'll be able to use that in a little bit. There's also some copper here, but let's go ahead and get this section worked out. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and speed this part up. We're going to throw down the water pitcher filler, couple of outhouses, couple of wash basins, finish area opening this top section out. Drop down 3 bunks so that the guys got somewhere to sleep, and a dam because the water level rose when we dropped the pitcher. And with that, the duplicates should have everything that they need for the first day. They've got a place to sleep, they've got a place to use the restroom, and they've got a place to wash their hands so they don't spread germs. So we're going to go ahead and dig out further a little over in this direction. I want to check the temperature to make sure that I'm not breaking into like a hot area. Now, the reason we wanted to come over here and dig that little tunnel was so that we can gain access to this gigantic copper vein right down here. I'm going to go ahead and lay down some ladders so that we can get down there. And then after the ladders get built, I'm going to put a spacer because that's where I'm going to put my fire pole. We're going to go ahead and start carving out all that. I did some looking around while they slept the first night and noticed that this area over here is a really good temperature. It's a great place to have a farm, grow crops because it's just really good neutral temperature. Uh, that being said, I'm going to drop down a walkway, some flooring, and have them dig out that opening while they're working on the other space for the copper. With 2 projects going on, I'm going to go ahead and speed this up. But I want to start thinking about power. And while manual generators don't create heat, batteries actually do give off a little bit of heat, and I don't want that in the middle of my base where the temperature is nice and cool. So I'm going to dig an area up and over so that we can kind of put batteries and generators in a spot that's already kind of warm. While that's going to make us use more materials and copper for wire and stuff like that, because we're going to have to pull our power further along, it's going to benefit us in the long run because it's not going to be warming up our base where we're going to have our crops growing and where they're going to need to feel the most comfortable. While they were completing their tasks, I realized that the outhouses and wash basins were kind of in the middle of the base now. So I want to move those. And I want to push them kind of off to the side. So we're just literally going to move them right a few spaces. All right, now with the outhouses moved, we now have a problem. There are puffs of yellow gas rising from where the outhouses used to be. That is polluted water. Polluted water makes the oxygen around it polluted. That can get our duplicates sick if they breathe in polluted oxygen. So what we need to do is we need to get our batteries in place. We need to go ahead and put our generators down so we can start conducting electricity. We need to add a research station so we can research a way to refine the polluted dirt so it doesn't pollute the oxygen. And then we need to contain the polluted water in its own separate reservoir. To accomplish all this, we're going to need the copper that we dug down to get access to earlier. We've been doing a lot of digging, not a lot of cleaning up. So let's drop down a couple of storage bins. Duplicates really don't like clutter. We're going to throw down the generator, hook it up with a couple wires just so it's connected to the batteries, throw down our research station and hook that up. Marie, what are you doing? I don't know why you're powering nothing. We're going to have a big gap when we get this copper. So what we need to do is repurpose this area. We're going to dig it out, put a wall there, and I think I'm going to use this area to be kind of like where we refine polluted dirt or something like that. That sounds good. Our research station is finally built. Let's go in to the research tab and we're going to go ahead and grab this first one here. It's basically going to be what we need to start getting crops and start being able to refine our polluted dirt. It's basically one of the first research that you need to complete. With that, our first research is complete. Let's go into the research tab and continue down the food tree. That's going to give us our crop plots, which are going to allow us to start our farms. Now that we have a way to refine our polluted dirt, let's drop a composter in the area we dug the copper out at. This will allow us to process the polluted dirt that we get from outhouses into usable regular dirt. With our composter built, I think I'm going to use this area over here to go ahead and be our refinement kind of area. It's going to contain all of our nasty stuff. So I'm going to go ahead, dig out a little farther over. I don't want to touch that slime yet because I don't have a way to refine slime yet. But I'm just going to make a little area right here so that we can hold our polluted water. With our next set of research completed, I want to go into the research tree and I want to look around. I think I'm going to go here with power. We're going to get bigger batteries. That's going to help us in the long run. While the duplicates were digging out the polluted water hole, I realized that the breathability was getting low. So I checked the oxygen levels and realized that, well, they need oxygen. So we're going to go ahead and build an oxygen diffuser down here in the hole where we're going to put eventually our fire pole, but that's also going to serve as a way for us to fully oxygenate our entire base right now. Upon starting our sixth cycle, we're going to check the oxygen levels to make sure everything's going well. And now that our research for the jumbo batteries are complete, let's go ahead and replace our old batteries with two jumbo batteries. This is going to allow us to store more power and not have the duplicates use the manual generator as often. Wondering why it doesn't look like there's oxygen up there where the generator and batteries are, I realized we don't have our air tunnel going all the way up into that area. So I used Marie to go ahead and clear that area out for us. We're almost finished with the polluted water hole. We're just going to build a water pump, some lines coming out, some power lines coming out, and finish that last wall off on the other side. Now, I'm going to check to make sure that the oxygen is in fact getting up to where the generator is, because we need our duplicates to have air while they're running on that thing. And just like in real life, carbon dioxide is heavier than oxygen. So that carbon dioxide that's up there will eventually filter down. After opting not to get another duplicate because we don't have a farm yet, and giving Marie a skill, I think it's time that we set up our farm. As I stated earlier, we're going to use this area over here that's a really good temperature to start out on our beginner farm. We're going to set up an 8 wide by 2 layer high farm. The crops that we're growing here are only 2 blocks high, so that's all the space we need to leave, which is good because that means we can set up a small condensed but very efficient farm. Realizing that the polluted water was still polluting the oxygen in our base, we need to go ahead and make them finish off this polluted water hole real quick. Let's increase the priority, have them finish all the construction and digging. We're going to set up a bottle emptier so that they can empty the polluted water into it, and we can stop polluting the oxygen that our duplicates are breathing. Our bottle emptier is set up for the polluted water, which they just emptied in the first batch. We can finally get rid of that polluted water and polluted oxygen. Our farm is started. Let's go ahead and plant some of these first crops down here. Millwood seeds. It's not great, but it's food. Our next step is to unlock advanced researching. Everything that we're going to need beyond this is going to need an advanced research station. So we're definitely going to have to get that set up. Things are looking great, guys. We got half of our farm seeded. We brought the ladder down into that area below so that we can kind of harvest that stuff as it grows naturally. We're going to go ahead and extend the ladder up so that we can do the same in the area above us. And this is just going to help to increase our supply of food. I also wanted to put a door there because it'll help to keep the area enclosed. And when the area is enclosed like this and we have a bunch of plants, we can stick a park sign in it once we research the park signs. What that's going to help us do is increase the duplicates' morale as they walk through that area. So if we make that area forcing the duplicates to move through it as they go through the base, they will increase their morale naturally just moving around. With all that completed, let's go ahead and start construction on our advanced research station. We're going to go ahead and grab it, set it right next to the regular research station. That way we use as little copper as possible on the wire to connect them. I'm going to fast forward this so we can just get the advanced research station built real quick. It would take far too long to just sit here and wait for it to be done. There we go. Now let's go into the research tab. After we get there, we can go ahead and research the aforementioned park sign, which also comes with the micronutrient fertilizer and a refrigerator. The fridge is going to allow us to store food at a stable temperature. That means that it's going to last longer. It's not going to spoil. This is good. It means we can stockpile food. However, that also comes with an increased electricity usage. This is something we're going to have to address soon. I'm going to go ahead and set all this stuff up here for auto harvest. That way we don't have to worry about it. They'll just go and gather it as soon as it's ready. We have a new blueprint to choose. And while I could choose a duplicate, I don't have all my farms set up, so I'm just going to take the sandstone. I'm just going to let these guys clean up real quick. With the start of the 11th cycle, we're going to go ahead and finish off building the farm area. We're just going to clear the space around it, enclose it in, and I'm going to leave room for a micronutrient fertilizer. That's going to help us fertilize our crops for bigger yields, but we're not going to get to that for a little while. It needs a certain material that we're not going to have an abundance of to really make use of it properly. Go ahead and fill this space in with storage bins. That's going to give the duplicates more places to store stuff and tidy up whenever we do construction in this area. Let's let our duplicates go ahead and finish off this farm building, clean up, then they can relax after a nice hard 11 cycles of work in this episode. I'm going to go ahead and leave you guys here with some music from Tim Taj. If you liked the video, you know what to do.